Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Courtney and I am the founder of One Sun, Three Flowers. All right, so as you all can see from the title, sorry, just fluffing up my puff. You know what? Puffs are like plants, I swear. Like, I feel like I'm growing a whole fern on my head and I'm in love with it. Okay, so as you all can see from the name of the video, today we are going to discuss the methods that I use to heal and or prevent my seasonal annual depression, which honestly has shown up in spaces outside of the dark or the gray skies in winter. So just to provide context, I'm in the Midwest. I'm in the Chicagoland area, and it starts getting dark here really early, and the days are full of gray skies for a pretty extended period of time. Now, if you're looking in my room, you might notice that it seems like it's a pretty good amount of light, and that is true. Today, it is going to be a little warmer than normal, but a lot of times we do have really cold and gray skies here. And so when we have these opportunities, even if it is cold, I do take the opportunity to capitalize on the sun. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. But let's talk about the things that I did, that I documented, that I noticed did not have me struggling with these low vibes, these low feelings, and not wanting to get out of the bed. Okay? Definitely brought my notes because I want to make sure I'm bringing you all the information. So number one, I increased my water intake. And I know a lot of you all have said to me before, like, you don't like water, you don't like the taste of water, you don't enjoy drinking it. But water really helps with mental health. It helps you to flush the toxins in your body, it helps you to feel more alive, more vibrant. And if you really hate drinking water, in the beginning of my water journey, I definitely struggle with that. So I want to provide some suggestions on that. So number one, you can buy those water bottles that have different time markers on them. And it can kind of encourage you, okay, by this time I'm going to drink to this place. And then by the time you're done, with the day, you can see if you met your goal or how close you're getting to it. If you don't want to spend money on something like that because you're not committed yet, and or it's just not financially feasible, another thing you can do is you can take your water bottle or take a water jug, and it really depends on how much water you want to drink, but you can use like a permanent marker and make markings there. And if you don't want timestamps, something that I've done in the past is I have put affirmations. So like, and I like to make my affirmations like relevant to how I speak to myself, to my culture, my community. So it might be, get it, girl, I see you. Let's keep going. All right, sis. Like things like that are encouraging me to complete my water intake. Another thing that I have done that I have found to be really helpful when I'm trying to increase my water intake is to cut up fruit. So limes, lemon, or cucumber. Particularly, I like lime and lemon once we start entering these winter months because that helps to boost your, lemon helps to boost vitamin C, lime helps to break down mucus. So those kind of things are preventative as far as like just helping you to stay, your lungs and your body to stay in a healthy space that is in a homeostasis, that is mucus free and has an added boost of vitamin C. So those are some of the things that I've done to help me increase my water intake. The next thing I'm going to list is exercise. And I know some of y'all are like, oh no, if I'm depressed, I don't like exercise. Even if I'm feeling good, I don't want to exercise. And I get that. So exercise is definitely like as much mental as it is physical. And so I am not going to sit up here and tell you to go and run a marathon or to start doing something that you absolutely hate doing. My suggestion would be that for you to do a few things. Here's one. Okay. If you're very anti-exercise, one, you might just start having a mental dialogue about like, okay, we can do this, because mental encouragement helps us to get to get into a place of actually attaining our action. I'm 100% for affirmations. I listen to them all day, and I can talk about that later in the video. But some writing an affirmations, telling yourself, I'm going to exercise a few times a week. I am exercising twice a week. I am exercising once a week. Having those type of verbal conversations will really help you to increase your mental ability and willingness to exercise. Another thing is to create tangible goals. So to say, okay, maybe you can't exercise 5 days a week, maybe 7 days a week. These are like outlandish things, but can you do one? And so where can you build into your schedule an opportunity to exercise every once a week? Try to find a consistent day. So every time it hits Monday, you'll exercise. Every time it hits Wednesday, you'll exercise. I throw out those days because like I really like I like words, right? So like Monday might be motivational Monday. Wednesday might be wellness Wednesday. Like something that triggers my brain into, girl, you're supposed to be in the gym. Okay, so things like that. Okay, so those are things that have worked for me. If you don't have a gym membership or you don't want to go to a gym, how can you capitalize on physical movement in the house? So that's something else that I talk about, because it is cold in Chicago, and sometimes the cold will tell me, no, you should stay snuggled up in this bed a little longer. No, you should stay under this blanket a little longer. And so with that, I look for opportunities to create movement in the house, because when you're battling sadness, when you're battling depression, you actually have to get your body moving. Just to get the body moving is helpful. So how can you do that? Okay, well, if you're in the bed, a lot of times you have your devices next to you. My phone is linked to my Bluetooth speaker. And so I will take the phone and turn on some music that's going to encourage me to get up. And you start playing that music. And once you start playing it, you might start dancing. Okay, so now you're creating movement in your body. Something you all know, I'm a certified yoga instructor. So dancing might turn into, okay, I have a little bit of energy now to actually stretch my muscles. You see how I'm progressively adding on. Okay, now I can stretch my muscles. Okay, and if you don't feel like stretching your muscles, how can you dance to the full song? How long can we keep that body moving? Just so we're generating energy, just so we're creating movement, just so we're loosening up those emotions, because I have come to learn in my personal experience that the things that affect you mentally and emotionally also affect you physically, and vice versa. It's kind of like this. It's kind of doing this. So how can I get up and move? Put on your favorite song. Put on a song that encourages you. Put on a song that makes you feel good. So those are things that I would say. And then once you get to the point of doing that, now can you move a little more? Are you able to walk? Can you walk the perimeter of your home? Can you walk a block in your neighborhood? What can you do to encourage more movement? So movement has been very key and vital in my mental health. And if you don't feel like leaving the house, YouTube has so many. Like if you don't have, like I understand that I'm a certified yoga instructor, but you all might not have any like type of physical training. So how can you take your skills how can you take your desire and translate them into movement, even if you don't necessarily have those skills? So get on YouTube, find obviously you can use music to dance to, but also find someone to guide you through yoga, find someone to guide you through Zumba, find someone to help you do a HIIT workout or core. Find someone, there's probably YouTube, I'm sure there's YouTubes on there for someone just to walk with you in place, jump rope, something. Do something to move your body, okay? The next thing I would say that has been really vital for me is therapy. And therapy, I've talked about this so much on all my channels. Therapy has been really, really vital for me. I started going to therapy, I would say it's probably been like 10, has it been like 10 years? It's been a really long time. But let me tell you this, it has not been 10 years of like intentional therapy. And what I mean by that is, first of all, therapy is like a dating process. So when you first get a therapist, you may or you may not have someone that you find to really connect with you. So finding a therapist you connect with really well. And if you all want me to do a video about my therapy journey, I definitely will. But finding someone that you can connect with. Then, actually, once you find the therapist that works well for you, bringing yourself and being honest about what you need. Sometimes we'll still come to therapy, but it'll be more so like a checklist and not necessarily like talking about what you're going through. And that's where it leads me into how it has helped support me as far as mental health, because I had to be transparent with my therapist about like what I'm feeling, how once the skies start changing and the emotions that I feel and how I struggle to get out the bed and how it's just really hard for mentally taxing for me. And some things that she said that has been really valuable, or some things that have come out of this session, I should say, those sessions that have been really valuable to me are one, like me being able to look at the things that I am doing that work for me and things that do not work for me during this time period. And that's how I've also been able to identify this list, because these conversations have really come from a therapeutic place, and me being able to talk to my therapist, what works, what doesn't work, how I can utilize those things to maintain my mental health. The second thing is her talking about the intention of recognizing what's going on, but not boxing yourself into labels. And I know, like, I thought when I came to therapy, it was always about like identifying the problem, naming it, and then using that as a way to work through it. And what I really particularly like about my therapist is she uses these different conversations as a way to talk about what's going on, but not necessarily allow me to get stuck in those places, right? We're naming what's happening. We're naming the characteristics and the things surrounding it, but the labels don't help me to heal, but tangible actions and plans do. So finding a therapist that you can talk to about your feelings, create plans, identify what you aren't doing that works for you has been very instrumental. Some of the things that have held me down have honestly just been a lack of vulnerability in talking about the things that have mentally impacted me during that season too. And it's not always has not always just been about like the change in weather. Excuse me. All right, so where are we now? Okay, so let's talk about supplements. Supplements have been instrumental in helping me during this seasonal transition. So there are these are like my go-to. Like, I'm just gonna tell you all, for me, these drastically have improved my feelings of depression. So vitamin D and melanated people, you know, anybody in the Midwest anyway, or a colder climate already is low on vitamin D. But the connection for melanated people is the darker our skin tones tend to be, the more we feel absence of vitamin D. And that's just because of our ancestral origin. So being aware that those low vitamin D comes from the sun, those low vitamin D exposure is also impacting your mental health. So take those vitamin D supplements, increase them. You need like, I think like 1,000 milligrams or more. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I believe I take. And then I take a supplement that has zinc, magnesium, and calcium in it. And it's a pretty thick pill, but I take that. Like, you have to take, let me say this also. These supplements that I'm listing are not, let me take them every 3 weeks. Like, these are something that you have to start to incorporate into your daily routine. And it's not to say if you miss a day, your mental health is just going to plummet, but it does need to be a regular habit of, I need to take these supplements because they are going to keep me in a very good space mentally. So vitamin D, 1,000 milligrams or more. I take a zinc, magnesium, and calcium pill. This all in one. They're not separate because I want to reduce the amount of supplement. I don't want to just have to take 5,000 pills. And then adaptogens. I love taking adaptogens. I have used, like, I have maca supplements. Maca's not, I don't believe maca's an adaptogen, but I have reishi mushroom and all those different things, right? And I do have those and individual supplements in my cabinet as an adaptogen. But something that I particularly like, and I will tell you, I love, like, my habit is, my preference is, if it's a black owned business, I prefer. So Peak and Valley has, they have two adaptogens, or two products for adaptogens that I like to use. So one is Nourish My Skin, and that's because in the past, like when I was like mid to late 20s, I started to develop adult acne. And although I have completely cleared that, and also if you want me to talk about that, comment below. I've completely cleared that. I still like to make sure I'm doing things to maintain my skin routine and the vitality of my health, my skin health. But the second one is Balance My Stress. And so the Balance My Stress is my go-to one. I add that one to my coffee. I add it to my teas. I add it to my smoothies. It's a really easy way for me to drink to ingest the adaptogens, because I'm going to drink a warm drink every day. Like I'm going to have a smoothie or iced coffee, like one of those beverages. Depending on the season, I'm going to have one of them. So it's an easy way for me to mix those things in and keep it moving. And I've noticed that really helps me to maintain a positive space for my mental health. And then last but certainly not least is meditation. So I meditate at this point daily, and that has been a habit I've had for about at least 4 years. And the longevity of how much I'm able to meditate really is dependent upon the amount of time. But I am very adamant about meditating every day. When I miss even one day of meditation, I notice a huge difference. I am certified in meditation, but for me, they say, who heals the healer? Well, I really like to, with that mindset, with me being in a space of service, I really like opportunities for me not to have to like lead myself in meditation, because I've done that for other people. So something that I like to do is to find guided meditations. Particularly my favorites tend to be meditations from Black women. If not Black women, other women of color are my primary sources. For me, it's just something very connecting and beautiful and intentional for me to be led by a woman who sounds like me, or comes from my community. So with that, I like to use meditation. I recommend, if you're just starting out, you can start as low as like 1 minute meditations to build up that muscle, increase to 5, and move on. For me at this point, I like to do a minimum of 15 minutes. And I recommend starting your day out like that. So before you grab your phone, before you create movement, find a meditation. Also, something that I really like to do with the meditation is to find one that in the morning, I like grounding meditations, because in the past, and I can talk about this as well on another video, in the past I've battled with anxiety. And so I am finally, and this is something so recent, but I am finally in a space where I am no longer struggling with my anxiety, and it feels really good to be able to say that. So I would recommend that you, if you're battling with anxiety, or you just want to stabilize your day, I highly recommend that you start off with like a grounding meditation to really root yourself in the day. Even if you're not battling with anxiety, if you're root chakra, for those of y'all who are familiar with the 7 main energy centers, obviously we have energetic centers throughout our body, but the root chakra is our security and safety. Still, starting off with the grounding meditation will be really, really helpful. And then you could use that meditation, and from there you can go to, I also like meditations that are not only requiring stillness. So from there, once you are able to physically get up, something that I really like to do is I like to listen to a gratitude meditation. One of my favorite meditations for gratitude comes from You Are Creators. They have several meditations. They have several um, several videos that are affirmations. Their gratitude affirmation is really helpful for me, because starting from physically like sitting there and just grounding myself for my day, to moving myself into a mental space of just offering gratitude for the things that make that I take, maybe perhaps take for granted, the things that I don't think to discuss, the things that I overlook that have just become known or assumed things in my universe. I really still want to take time to acknowledge them. So that's really great. Affirmations are a wonderful way for you all to and help to stabilize depression and any form of mental health as well. But also they are really a form of meditation, because, or mindfulness, because they keep your mind centered in the conversation, or they keep your mind focused on the task at hand. So I like to listen to affirmations after I do a non-moving meditation. And so I might listen to it while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm in the shower, while I'm adding moisturizing my face, or if I decide I want to stretch in the morning before I get up and start my day. Those are things that I really like to do, and it's another form of mindfulness. And really, with the gratitude, when I feel like gratitude is a really high vibrational energy, because when I focus my mind on what is going right, I am starting my day off with the intention, like, this is already a good day, because there's already things for me to be grateful for. And then that gives me the mindset, the mentality to say, okay, now I'm ready to take on the next thing. It really is a mental shift versus like, oh, it's gray, it's dark skies, oh, I'm not feeling my best. Like, it helps me to shift my mind out of that. And once I'm in the space of gratitude, like, for me, it just starts to become energetic. So boom, gratitude. And then like, what's the next thing? And so for me, the next thing in the spirit of mindfulness and meditation will be to listen to high vibrational music. There's a number of ways you can do that. You can listen to wordless music, like frequencies. I've already talked about affirmations, but then there's high vibrational music artists. Again, mine tend to all be people of color. And in this area, preferably Black women and Black men. But I listen to high vibrational music from all groups of people, but my top preference is always to support my community. So listening to high vibrational music, there's some really amazing artists out there. You can Google them, you can YouTube them. Some of them honestly I have found from like TikTok, and then I've explored their pages. Like, oh, this song sounds really great. And so just making note of that. And I think last but certainly not least, I want to add this because I think it's important. When you're finding your information, whether it's from me, whether it's from another YouTuber, whether it's from any form of social media, please, please, please take the time to do your research. Find out how these things may or may not work for you. Find out some information about the supplements or the drinking habits or all the different things that you find that you feel like you're interested in. I recommend you do research before you just take someone else's advice, and then document what is working for you, because I want you to like take time to pay attention. Okay, this day I felt my best. This week I felt my best. Okay, so how can I continue to recreate those experiences so that I am living my best life? Okay, so I hope this information helped you all. If you have any questions for me, please comment down below. If any of these methods you're already using and they work for you, great. Comment below and let me know. You can find me here. I'm also available on all social media platforms at One Sun, Three Flowers. Connect with me on those sites, and I look forward to talking to you guys again real soon.